Okay. So remember, all we know at the moment, chapelaps and chapettes, all we know at the moment is that to get the thingy, it's A plus n take 1 times D. So if we look at this, we want to find a rule for each of these sequences. The first thing that we have to check is that, are they indeed arithmetic as we are doing them, okay? So check the first one and we go, yep, not a problem. Do we all agree that it's arithmetic? Why? Because it's difference of 4, difference of 4. So to get my general rule, all we need is the first term. A is 3, D is 4, and it's that simple. Whack it in there. I would tidy this up. So if someone is looking at your work, they can read it. They don't have to ask you, can you explain what is going on? I guess technically I should have put this somewhere in there, but I didn't. Bad me. Make sense? Finding the rule. Find the rule. Just getting up question 4. Okay. Current. Looking at question 4. Now this could be 4, it could be 5, it could be a question that we're going to do later on. But it's about how you approach this. Okay? So, Keats, first thing is we're looking and we see arithmetic. Because we're going to get to the point where it might not be arithmetic. It might be, they're not going to tell you. It could be that they say it's geometric, and that means a whole other thing. So please don't just scan numbers, read the question carefully. Now as soon as they've got arithmetic there, either you write it down or you've got it somewhere in your head, but it's A, n take 1 times D. What I need you to do then is read the question and go, okay, what information can I get from the information they've given me? Now this bit here, 54 is the nth term. How do we write that in mathematics? The nth term is 54. Do you agree? Thank you. Tn equals 54. I look along. What else do I know from this? I should be able to get some information from here. Tom? Yep. Tom, what are you thinking? Okay. You've gone the difference is 4 because 6 plus 4, 10 plus 4. Excellent. Confirms it's arithmetic. It's D is 4. And what else do we know? Yeah, the first term is 6. So we just get all of that from looking. They haven't told us A is this, T is this, blah, blah, blah. You've got to read. And now, good mathematician, you've got a formula, you've got information. What do? Sub it in. Do I know what Tn is? Yep, it's 54. It says equals, I put equals. A is 6 plus, do I know what n is? No, that's what I'm trying to find. Now that could be another thing, right? If find the value of n. So sometimes we lose track of what it is that we're actually trying to solve. So maybe put that up there. And it makes your systems clear. Boys, I did say just listen for a minute. So now we've got n minus 1 times 4. There is nothing stopping you, if you don't like how that is written, there is nothing stopping you from saying 6 plus 4 n take 1. They mean the same, right? But for some reason, because it's always been written like this and now this, it looks a bit funny. So rewrite it if you want to. Does everyone agree that they could now solve this for n? 6 on the other side. You could either divide by 4 or expand the brackets. It's up to you. Yeah? I need you to stay with me for 2 seconds. When you get to question 5, I want you to do the same thing that we just did. But what might happen is you won't just be left with one unknown. Are you listening, chaps? This is now, we're talking about question 5. I'm giving you a nudge. So with question 5, I want you to look and do the same thing. I want you to sub it in. You might be left with something A, so something A plus 2B equals 7, and then you might get an A, take B equals minus 9. How do we solve that? How do we solve it when we have 2 equations and 2 unknowns? Simultaneous equations. Now I'm going to remind you how to do it by hand if you have forgotten when we get to it in about 5 minutes. How else can you do it if you don't solve it by hand? Calculator. So see if you can remember where that is, and then I'll remind you. Please just look, because it doesn't matter if you do 4C first or 4A first when we've gone through A, but let's just have a look. So do you agree that I've just written the information we've been given? Tn equals minus 41. However, when it says T1 equals 16, that is my first term. Gentlemen, that is my first term. The other thing I'm looking for, because again in my head I've got Tn equals A, it's all about that formula. They've told me Tn, so I can pop in there minus 41. I didn't know what A was, but instead of saying the first term is 16, or saying whatever, well, instead of saying A equals, they've gone T1 equals 16. That's the same. A is 16. Plus, what are we trying to find? We're trying to find N, so we don't know it. And did we have our difference? So again, how do we find our difference? It's the change from one term to the next. And we've got T1 to T2, so the second term take the first. Now that's really important, people. It must be the second term, the second term take the first term, and that gives you your difference. So maybe you might want to put that in your notes or have it as D equals Tn plus 1 take Tn. Do you understand what that means? It has to be second take the first, third take the second, not the other way around. Otherwise your sign will be different. Correct? So back to, so times negative 3, and now this is again simple mathematics that you should be able to solve for n. And I'll just finish it off now. Huzzah. And we know we're right because n is not a decimal or fraction, it's a whole number. Right, this is the last one that I'm going to be going through. You to participate. So Keita, my friend, you might know how to do it, you'll be able to finish it. Great. For an arithmetic sequence, once again, it's an arithmetic sequence. We're going to be looking, before we do geometric, we're going to look at arithmetic series, 2 different things. So again, make sure that you are reading your information, because there's a different formula for a series than for a sequence. All right, it has 4th term of 7. So I'm going to write what? Excellent. T4 equals 7, and a 13th term of 85. So T13, 30th, thank you. 30th. Shh. Did a lot of us read 13th? Thank you, so did I. 30th. Okay, so what do we want to do? Find the values of A and D, and hence find the 7th term. So we want to find A, we want to find D, and then we want to find T7. So when we take T4 equals 7, I'm going to sub this into my original equation because I can't do anything else. Even if you're not up to this, you know this is good for you. All right, so T4 equals 7. This is telling me that N is 4. And so I'm going to sub that whole thing in. So T4 will be 7. Agreed? Equals, I don't know what A is. I do know what N is. N is. So 4 take 1. Are you happy I can write 3? Thanks. And I don't know what D is. So I've got an equation with 2 unknowns. Lucky for me, I've got a second piece of information here. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing with that. I'll pause. So this one now is saying N is 30. So we're going to do exactly the same thing and sub it in here. Okay, so Tn, so T30, that's 85. A, we still don't know. N take 1 is now 29 times D. So here's our 2 equations, and we're going to solve them simultaneously. Can you see that? I'll put it a little bit higher. Okay? I'm going to write this one underneath. 7 equals A plus 3D. And we're going to do the elimination way. Why? Because your A's have the same coefficient. So it's just going to be really easy to eliminate them by doing subtract. That's right. So I'm going to subtract those equations from one another. So 85 take 7. 78. A take A. No A. Am I right, Bowen? You looked at me. And what's 29 take 3? 26D. I'm really hoping that 26 times 3 is 78, is it? So therefore, D is 3. How am I going to find A? Sub back in. Which one will you sub into? I know which one I'm going to sub into. They're the lower one. So to get A, I'm going to go 7 equals A plus 3 times 3 is 9. So therefore, A equals minus 2. Okay? Another therefore, Tn is minus 2 plus N take 1 times 3. All right, make sure that you've read the question and you actually answer it, because it didn't just say find the general term, it also asked you to find the 7th term. So therefore, T7 will be 3 times 7. 35. What? 3 sevens? 20. God Lord. That's on video. 21 take 5, 16. And just a quick reminder, if you wanted to use your calculator to check, right, we go to equation. You go to equation, simultaneous, number of unknowns, and then you can pop your these little ones in. So we're going to go, oops, so I've written it backwards, so it'll be 1A and 29D. So 1, enter, 29, enter, and I think, was it 85? I can't remember. Let's hope. Was it 85? And then 1, 3, and I've forgotten. 1, 3, oops, and 7. And we solve, and we get the same answers. Okay? There we go.